My in-laws helped take our baby for 5 months based on lies, and the system failed us completely. I'm a 26-year-old first-time mom, married to my 25-year-old husband, first-time dad, and we have a 17-month-old son. When he was just 8 months old, our entire life flipped upside down. My father-in-law made false claims to DCFS, saying we weren't feeding our baby, that we left him crying in his crib all day, and that I was using hard drugs. None of it was true. He barely knew anything about our day-to-day life, and yet he said these things with confidence because he was angry that we didn't want his involvement. My husband and his father have a very complicated past. It wasn't just my decision. To make things worse, my mother-in-law works for DCFS in another state, and she backed him up. She added to the lies and helped him get the attention of DCFS in Washington. I truly believe her position made them take it more seriously. It didn't matter that there was no evidence. They still took our baby. He was placed directly with my father-in-law for 5 months. 5 entire months of our son's life, gone. We missed crawling, first words, his first birthday, everything. During that time, we were treated like criminals. We fought like hell to get him back, and even now we're left with CAPTA charges tied to our names, like we actually hurt our child, which we never did. The only reason DCFS gave for removing him was low weight gain. They never once ordered an allergy test. They never once considered a medical issue. No one, not his foster guardian, not his doctor at the time, not a single caseworker, thought to question what he was being fed. When we finally got him back at 13 months old, I immediately asked for an allergy test. That's when we found out he's allergic to milk. He had been fed milk-based formula his whole life and actual milk once he turned 1. His body could not tolerate it. That's why he wasn't gaining weight. That's why he was so small. It wasn't abuse. It was a medical issue. And nobody figured it out but us. So yeah, I'm angry. I'm furious. The people who were supposed to protect us failed us completely. I'm angry at my in-laws for lying and manipulating. I'm angry at DCFS for believing them with no real proof. And I'm angry that we were the ones who had to figure out what was wrong after being treated like monsters. We're new parents. We took him to all his regular appointments. DCFS wouldn't leave us alone, but none of the doctors ever raised concern. They said we were doing fine. We never even thought to question it until we got him back. Now my husband's family acts like we're being dramatic for cutting them off, like we're just holding a grudge and being emotional. But how are we supposed to move on from this? With these charges still on our names, we are literally moving across the country just to escape what happened here. And DCFS never even said sorry. The charges just stick like nothing ever changed, even after the allergy test proved everything. I don't even care if anyone says anything. I just had to say it out loud. I will never forgive them, and I will never forget. Thanks for reading if you got this far. Now for the top comments. Can you sue? I'd sue the crap out of DCFS. Then add your father-in-law in there as well. They kidnapped your baby. I wish we could, but from what I understand, it's very hard to sue DCFS. I could sue my father-in-law for making false claims to DCFS and doctors, but it'd be a long, expensive journey. At the point, we are just trying to escape and never be seen again. Is there a way to lodge a complaint against your mother-in-law for falsifying reports since she works for DCFS? I would do anything to get that "see you next Tuesday" removed from her job for that. If we had anything but pro bono lawyers, we probably would have a shot at that. She instigated this because her son married me and she didn't approve of it. They've always had a rocky relationship, and this sealed the deal. When we move away, we will be looking into our legal options more, because I do feel that we have a case of some kind on our hands, just not really sure what kind of lawyer would handle this. Nah, F them. Hold a grudge and cut them off completely. Just to add to this, make sure they stay cut off. There is no coming back from this. In a few years, they will try something to get back in contact, a sick relative, a death, or even a wedding. Anything that would involve the whole family getting together. Once you move, change your numbers and maybe get a new email. Change email and names on existing social media and keep them blocked. Make sure they are unable to contact you in any way. Remove any relatives that are 50-50 or support your in-laws. They can be cut off too. Anyone that supports this level of deceit does not deserve to be in your life. Once your child is old enough, let them know what happened and why these people can't be trusted. Make sure any nursery/daycare or school your child goes to has pictures of the grandparents just in case they show up. Set up a password for trusted people that has to be asked at every phone call. So if they track you down, they can't get an update on your child. Also, maybe look into consent about any nursery/daycare/school posting photos online, just in case. Next story. My ex is dying and she asked me to raise the child she had with another man. My ex and I were together for 4 years. We broke up a little over 2 years ago. At the time she was pregnant, but the baby wasn't mine. She had been seeing someone else behind my back, and when she told me, it shattered me. I won't lie, I was angry. I felt betrayed. I cut contact and tried to move on. The guy she left me for completely disappeared. Never stepped up, never even put his name on the birth certificate, from what I understand. She raised the baby on her own. I didn't reach out. I assumed it was none of my business anymore. Fast forward to now. She contacted me out of nowhere. She's sick, like seriously sick, terminal. She didn't say how long she has left, but it doesn't sound like much time. We met up and she asked me something I never expected. She asked if I would take care of her son after she's gone. Her family is either estranged or unavailable, and she doesn't trust the foster system. She said I was the only person who ever made her feel safe, that even after everything, she trusts me more than anyone. I was speechless. I didn't know what to say. Part of me still feels hurt by how things ended. And this kid, he's not mine. I've never met him. But she showed me pictures, told me stories. He's almost 2 now, just a little boy who doesn't understand any of this. I don't know what to do. I'm not a father. I don't even know if I'm capable of being one, let alone under these circumstances. But I also can't stop thinking about this little kid losing his mom and ending up in a system where no one knows him or loves him. I keep picturing him being scared, wondering where she went, waiting for someone who's never coming back. And as much as I want to say it's not my responsibility, something in me can't look away. I don't think I can say no, not because I owe her, but because that kid didn't ask for any of this. None of this is his fault. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm trying to figure out what steps I'd even need to take. I just know that I haven't been able to sleep since she asked me. I feel like my whole world has turned upside down. Not your responsibility. No, it is not. Although I know how it can be to come from a broken home. The kid has a father out there. The common denominator is your ex is a crappy person. Who even knows if this guy is aware? Heck, who even knows if she is actually dying? Wouldn't be the first time someone fakes illness to dump a kid on someone else. The foster system is not good, but a completely unattached baby, that is, not awaiting family reconciliation, that young, will be adopted out almost immediately. Your fears about him ending up in a system where no one knows him or loves him are admirable, but not based in reality. Don't feel like you're the best person for this job just because you think you're the only person for the job. You can talk to CPS and/or the social workers involved if you feel that will help you gauge the situation. As a side note, even if you did agree to take the child when she dies, a court would still need to approve it. Children can't be willed like physical objects are. If you do want to adopt the child, start building a relationship now so the court sees that you're not just a random stranger to the child. Not all young children get adopted. That's not a true statement. The young children who aren't adopted in the foster system are generally awaiting family reconciliation, which means they aren't available for adoption, or they are medically complex and need specially qualified parents. But young babies who are available for adoption do not have family attachments and are healthy, are very much in high demand, especially if the baby is white, sadly. People will hate you for saying that, but it's true. Next story. My ex who left me to marry his mom's choice has been telling people how miserable he is. I know I shouldn't feel so good about it, but I do. We were both international students, and in our second year of undergrad, he started saying his family would want him to marry by 23 or 24. We were Indian students just 20, in a different country, and he always had a problem with me assimilating too much. I made friends with people who were not Indian, and he used to berate me for mixing with foreigners in Europe. Phew. But that entire 1.5 years of the relationship mentally screwed me over for some time. I finally started dating again at 23. The whole time with my ex, he made me feel small and inferior, and I started to hate myself for being career-oriented. He would be angry if I hung out with my best friend, now brother-in-law, who is gay, and always had a problem if I wore dark-colored lipstick. Believe it or not, that was my breaking point. I cannot live without red lipstick. He left after undergrad. By that time, we had broken up, and I used to avoid him, but a huge portion of the Indian student community thought I was a low woman, and I had a social reputation problem. I wouldn't even get invited to Diwali celebrations during undergrad, because I had left a pious good guy to do characterless stuff. Stuff was crazy back then. I was so glad I moved to a different city for my master's, and when I moved back, most of the horrible rumors had died down. But the after effects stayed with me. He told me when leaving that he would marry a good girl, one his mother would love and choose. And he did. And the poor village girl he married not only separated him from his parents within a year, she now says they won't have kids unless one of the properties is in her name. Good for her, I guess, but better for my crappy ex and his family. My friend, who told me all this, said that he regretted leaving me the moment he came back to India, but his parents wouldn't let him leave the country after that. His life is apparently a living hell right now, working for his rich dad's business, which he hates, miserable in his marriage, and still no kids, which he wanted by 24. We are 27 now. I am currently at my parents' place, and will have to see him in a few days when I go to the reunion with my undergrad friends. I know he will make offhanded comments, but well, this time I'll have ammo to fight back. Just wanted to share that karma hit my ex, and I am pleased. Edit. Many people are asking me to take a hot guy, but I don't need to. I am engaged. My fiancé is with me at my parents' place, and he will most likely be at the reunion. Most of us in the reunion who have spouses are bringing them. Now for the top comments. As an Indian woman who doesn't live in the country, ask me how many situations I've seen where women who assimilate to the Western country are branded as low women. Heck, most of us are branded as characterless women. Because guess what? Due to the safety and security we get in Europe, we dress up, go out for late-night walks, and are much freer in many senses. We don't have to worry about getting catcalled or eve-teased here either, at least where I live. The only harassment I've had was from the Indian community, which punishes women for straying too far away from their values. OP, your ex deserves it. The only thing which you didn't deserve was all the mistreatment, which I'm guessing only happened because people get jealous that you are doing much better than them. Honestly, same. I won't say I have not faced ignorance or colorism abroad, but again, it has been mostly from the Indian community. I still don't understand why it's their business to go around running policing women who are no one to them. Ignore him if you do see him. He's a married man. He should mind his business. If he attempts to speak to you, remove yourself from the situation. And I like the suggestion of you wearing your reddest lipstick too. If others judged and treated you poorly though, why would you want to attend the event? They all sound like miserable company. You're better off treating yourself somewhere instead. Not all of them were awful. Plus, I am genuinely good friends with a few girls from my undergrad who will be in India and coming to the reunion. I don't think my crappy ex should stop me from having fun with my friends. Last story. My boyfriend resents me because I own 3 houses. I come from a messed up family. Not going into details, but know that heavy alcoholism and hard drug use were prominent. I saw a lot of violence too. I hated how I grew up. By the time I was 13, I knew college was my only way out. By the time I was in high school, I kept my grades up. I got a scholarship and went to college. Fast forward 2 decades, and I now have 3 houses, retirement accounts, a great job, and have really worked my butt off to come from nothing for all this. I am also divorced, but wasn't married long. He was emotionally abusive, and it did get physical a few times. He even threw a shovel at me once. It missed. He took advantage of my financial situation too, so I divorced him. We were both military at the time, and there were reasons why we got married. We do have a child together. My boyfriend now had a vastly different life. He grew up in a house full of love. He wanted to emulate what his parents had. He was married for 15 years, and the first 10 were great. His marriage fell apart after they had their second kid, so they got divorced. Not going into detail why, it's not relevant. And he had his reasons for wanting the divorce. His dad left him a property, but his ex-wife wound up getting it. He harbors a lot of resentment towards her for that, because now he can only afford to rent a duplex, and it's a constant struggle. He went through a slew of crappy women, some worse than others, and then he met me. I'm the first he ever met who had my act together, according to him. He was the breadwinner in all of his relationships and marriage. I make nearly twice what he makes in salary alone, and it'll be more than that once I start receiving VA disability pay. He clearly has issues with this. He says he doesn't, but he does. According to him, since he's the man, he's supposed to be the provider. I said it's 2025. Those are outdated gender roles. We both agree we're a team, but he feels emasculated because I make more. And when we first met, he didn't know my finances. We were still getting to know each other, and he told me how one particular ex used him for rent money. He also said, I'm the man, so I'll be in charge of the finances. I didn't say anything about it, and knew as we progressed, my situation would be revealed in due time. However, it was because of that statement, I intentionally waited a few months before I told him what my salary was. And ever since, it's just been a problem. It sucks though. I love him for him. It doesn't bother me that I make more. We have talked about moving in together. I told him that since the other 2 bedrooms in my house are white, we can paint them whatever color his kids want. He has worked hard. His life was just different than mine. He didn't go to college and instead worked and helped his ex-wife when they were married, and I think that's noble. It shows selflessness, which not many people have anymore. More and more, he makes backhanded comments to me about finances. Your friends must think I'm a loser since you guys have nice houses. $20 is like $1 to you, and things like that. It is getting tiring. I understand his frustrations with his own situation, but there's no reason to put me down for mine. I feel like he resents me because I invested in myself early on in life, and now I have assets and he doesn't. I have told him, what's the point of having all this if I have nobody to share it with? You probably already know this, but it's not going to work out with this guy. He has quite a bit of baggage, particularly with his provider slant, and that's not going to go away without putting in the work. Add to that his resentment of his ex, and he needs to work through those issues before he's ready for a relationship as equals. I'm the man, so I'll be in charge of finances, says the man who has none to be in charge of. When I met my husband, he lived in the black, but I had more, owned a home, had retirement accounts. While we were getting serious and got engaged, we had long talks about how we'd manage our finances. I had a very specific and regimented management strategy, and while he always had enough, his was more loosey-goosey. He was like, yeah, we'll just do it your way. That's a man who is A, secure enough to recognize when someone is managing something better than he is, and B, smart enough to get on board and be a real partner. I explained how I manage mine, and even said trust me with how I handle debt. He was trying to convince me that having debt is okay. No, the heck it's not. He doesn't have massive debt, but has some. I have more than him at the moment because of rather expensive house repairs, so I get it. But the difference is I can pay mine off in 6 months as long as nothing else happens. He can't. I wish his thought process was like your man's.